Hey. Welcome back to the Ramblings of the Designer. We are a weekly podcast. We talk about the latest in graphic design news from around the web. My name is Terry, and I'm one of the co-hosts. I'm a UX UI designer from the Bay Area. I help bridge the gap between products and their end users. So I'm here with Adam, who helps run the podcast. So Adam, take it away.
Hey, my name's Adam Zapata. I'm a freelance designer from the San Francisco Bay Area. I specialize in visual UI design with a little bit of illustration. I like to give companies character.
All right. Hey, Adam, so how was your week?
Yeah, it's a little topsy-turvy, right? So this week was a lot more family stuff. My kid graduated from preschool. I don't know what that means, but it means that they did a ceremony, and so I took time to go take him to that. And then he had his little field trip too, because it's the end of the year, so we went that. So I took a couple of days off from work to kind of take him to that. And then also we threw in some like just what do you call that? Like doctor's appointments and dentists and things. And so we've pretty much filled our day with just throwing our kid everywhere, here and there. I think he liked it for the most part. And it was also his birthday the week previous. So a lot of that going around. As far as work-wise, yeah, just same old, right? Work keeps trickling in here and there. Like it's always the same kind of contracts that kind of come back and need more projects, and so that's always great to hear, and so I welcome that. So perfect. And haven't been able to work on my portfolio, haven't been able to draw, haven't been able to do any of the fun stuff that I have been planning to do. Also, wow. So I say it's for my kid's birthday, but although the purchase happened more near my birthday, I got a Nintendo Switch, the video game console, and so I've been kind of playing that more than I have been trying to work lately.
That's funny. Yeah, Switch, nice.
I know. So I've been playing Breath of the Wild, and that's been sort of keeping me distracted these past almost like the past couple months, really. So it's a long game, but it's a guilty pleasure every now and again. I indulge, and then I play video games with my kid every once in a while too. But yeah, anyway, that's been my week. What about you, Terry?
Wow, isn't so obvious that because my husband, he actually bought Xbox or PlayStation. I don't even know what it is. All I know is it plays video games. And he's like, yeah, I'll buy that for him for his birthday. He's like, right. And he plays it more than my son. I think it's kind of funny. But anyways, but other than that, they've been playing that. Just like you, just end of the school year. Summer has started. So it's for different schedules, trying to get that change on my calendar. So that's been a little bit challenging, but other than that, I was able to read a couple more chapters in the book that I'm reading, and then continuing on with the Kura's Foundry web development course. So I've been reading that, and I've been reading this same page for about a couple of days because it hasn't really synced in a little bit. So other than that, things have been going great. So, Adam, do you have any gripe of the week, or do you just want to shoot right into the articles?
Gripes. You know what? I said I was going to do some, but I don't have anything right now. You know what? I would say just driving. So
driving.
Today,
isn't it?
Yeah, you know how I commute into work, right? I take the BART into San Francisco, and so all I have to deal with is the craziness with the BART, but I'm used to that. But I'm not used to traffic, and so today I was out and about, driving the kid here and there to his appointments, and then having to have cars cut you off and not use their blinkers, and I'm like, I forgot, this is just the daily kind of mess. And then there's the whole street was the whole street for like 5 blocks was closed off to be one lane instead of two lanes because there's sort of construction. And I was like, oh my God, I already hate this street that I'm on. And then now it's even worse because, whatever. It's just, that's my gripe. My gripe is traffic. When are we going to fix this crazy thing?
Then you need to get an Apple Watch so you can do the Breathe app.
Yeah. We need to get Elon Musk to get those automated cars going on so I don't have to sit and, I could just sit back and take a nap. And when I wake up, I'm at my destination.
Take a nap, man. If I had an hour to myself every day, I would be in La La Land. I would be in the best land ever. But anyway, so pick an article. So you have an article for us, right?
Yeah. Well, okay. This week, so the biggest thing I think happened this week has been Apple, right? Apple did their conference, and what I wanted to start out with, I guess, is this first article that says, "Has Apple totally lost its mind?" And yeah, the biggest news article kind of came from an accessory. Okay. Also, too, I know that this is a design podcast, but as far as Apple goes, I figure they're a tool or resource that we use as well. And so, I figured I'd have to throw this in there. So for the most part, the biggest news is that Apple released their new Mac Pro, right? And it starts off at $4,999, and that's just for the machine itself. And for some reason, the stand that's supposed to be this high-end stand doesn't come with it, and you have to buy it separately. And it costs $999 just for the stand to buy by itself. And so this caused a huge uproar on the internet this week. Everybody seemed to go nuts. Like, really, $999? Like, why didn't you just include it with the thing? Even if you were to like make the price of the whole everything a little more, right? Let's say it was $5,999, but then tell us that the stand comes with, like, you just made this whole thing. Like, I don't know why they decided to kind of like piece it out that way. It seems kind of funny. Like, let's say, for example, you buy a car and you're like, all right, the car, well, cars actually do that already.
It comes with wheels.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, yeah, what if they say, you need the structure, the wheels don't come with it, but for an additional. But I was gonna say, sometimes cars, they kind of they're like, oh yeah, you want air conditioning? Okay, that's a little bit more. You want power windows? That's a little more. But yeah, but I guess something more functional to the actual car, like the wheels. Yeah, like, oh, you need wheels? Yeah, that's gonna be separate. That's like another $2,000 or something. But I just thought it was kind of ridiculous, and I definitely see. Well, or maybe this will stop this dead in its track. Where like, is this going to be Apple's trend where they'll just like take parts off and then sell you those accessories, as needed? Like, oh man, I really need a mouse or a touchpad device to use my laptop. Oh, but I guess I'll just have to add that to my cart, and now that's another $1,000 to use my mouse pad. Like, I don't know. What do you think, Terry? Do you think Apple is out of its mind by piecing apart its materials and selling them at a high price?
They just want to make money. Business is business, and it's Apple. Enough said. To be honest, because it's they just have to make more money or figure out a way how to break everything apart. And if people have the money, they're going to go buy it. If people don't have the money, then they'll just stick to their laptops. And besides, I haven't had a desktop since, oh my God, a long time. A very long time. So I'm sticking with my laptops because you can take them anywhere. Desktop is like stationary and you can't really move it. I mean, you can, if you move to another house or apartment, but I like my laptops.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, this will kind of open up a good third party market, at least for the stand. And then maybe like it'll be maybe people kind of, I don't know, just like start looking for better options. Although one thing that Apple does right is that everything kind of works really seamlessly with it and one another. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's pretty much my article. This was from Creative Block. Actually, both my articles happen to be from Creative Block this week. But this one's called a $999 Mac Pro stand. Has Apple lost the plot? And you can get that at Creative Block. Terry, what do you got?
Well, my news is not as big as yours, but I will go with it's an article by TNW. Here's how you can apply everyday design to your everyday life. And it's by, I'm not going to even pronounce his name. Don't want to butcher it. But anyways, he was just explaining about him and his coworker. They were chatting about different screens and like the apps, the icon apps and everything. And he gives some really good tips. Like here is one I'll just read. He mentions, I try to limit the number of icons displayed on my home page and the ones that I use every day. The rule is simple. If I haven't used an app for more than 3 days, I move it to another page. The fact that I have less information to look reduces the cognitive load 100% of the times that I unlocked my phone. And what he puts down there is like, oh my God, I actually do the same thing. I actually picture all my apps on my phone I use a lot, and then ones that I don't use, and then ones I use, I just have them that way. So anyways, he just keeps on stating like how he understands your own use case of like anytime when you work, for example, he says, what are the 3 things you need to bring with you every time you leave your house, etc. So anyway, he's just going through different everyday examples and everything like that. And then at the end of the article, he's just stating the fact that basically owning your own daily experience. Be mindful of your own daily experience that shows that you care about yourself and others around you. So I thought it was a very interesting take on what is design and basically how we can look at it in everyday use. Because think about it, when you look around, whatever room you're sitting right now, something was designed by somebody. So Adam, what do you think?
Yeah, it seems like an interesting take or an interesting article, like trying to break down your everyday process and try to look around to see what, how you can kind of redesign your life, I guess, in the sense. Overall, I think it was kind of interesting. I do actually do that as well with my home screen. Or actually what I do is in my home screen, I have a folder that says everyday or daily. And those are like apps that I tend to use daily. And then when it's like stuff that I don't want to use that often, I shove it all the way to the back to like the final page. That way I'm like forced to like kind of make an effort if I really want to use it. So in a way, I guess that's me kind of redesigning my mobile experiences.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, but it's true. So, okay, so what do you have for us?
Yeah, let's see. So my last article is also from Creative Block, and is also kind of coming out of this whole Apple, the Apple developers conference this year. And it's just that Apple kind of released a new font, right? So before, we all know that Apple kind of released their San Francisco font, and that was like a regular, that's kind of their sans serif, kind of Helvetica type of font. And now they released a new one, and this one's called New York. And it was based off of a type that was done by this designer called Susan Kare in 1983. And they actually introduced it, even though they were presenting it back for this conference. They actually had released it back kind of a while back, I think like a year ago or earlier this year. And so it's a new font. You could kind of download it and use it and play around with it, but they have some stipulations. And so I wanted to read the caveat that they had. And so it says the Apple New York font is to be used solely for creating mock-ups of user interfaces to be used in software products running on Apple iOS, Mac OS, tvOS, or watchOS operating systems as applicable. So pretty much saying like, hey, here's this new font you can try out. Go ahead and use it, but really only use it to make mock-ups of our stuff, and that's it. And don't use it for anything else, which makes sense. But I don't know. Is this something that we need to download at that point? Then I would say maybe depends. I would say I'd say download it. I think you should definitely have it in your repertoire if you're going to be if you are a UI designer. You're going to be working with within the Apple framework. I'd say definitely download the font. Definitely have it in your package. What do you think, Terry?
No, I think it's great. I think it's another thing to download. You can do Apple TV, do the Watch, make some apps, and discover and have fun with it. And then also, too, if you are new to UX UI design, you have the font right there.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean,
yeah, design everything, right? Perfect.
It's actually pretty rare to get like nice free fonts that are just given to you, right? Like,
yeah.
Usually there's Font Squirrel where you get like different versions of free fonts. Usually you have to pay a license, and so whenever you can kind of get a font for free that's from a big industry leader like Apple, go ahead and take it. Why not?
Yeah, good.
So that's what I got. That's called Apple's new free system font. Isn't actually that new, and that's also, you can find that at Creative Block. Terry, what do you got?
Okay, I think I am going to have a cliffhanger. I have two. So I'm going to do the one that is kind of going with fonts, but not really fonts, but just kind of researching, I guess. Anyways, this is called, it's from News Deeply. It's through Airbnb. It's called Another Lens, a research tool for conscious creatives. And it says, how can you design for everyone without understanding the full picture? So it says, to help examine how bias influence of our real world, Airbnb design partner with Newsly Deeply. It's a journalistic startup decided to provide an in-depth coverage of the world's most critical challenges. So as you scroll down, they give you 3 guiding principles: balance your bias, consider the opposite, and embrace a growth mindset, which I really, really like the last one because, yeah. So, and they go through to how you can apply to them, right? So if you just scroll down, they have these questions, right? And then I'll just read one of the questions. It says, am I holding on something that I need to let go of? Okay, we all have this, right? We have something. Do we let it go? Do we not? And there's actually a little launch. It says behind the question. And when you click on it, you actually get the background on it. It says, and basically it's just an answer to this question. We tend to hold an initial evidence more strongly than information we are gathered later, and to fit our interpretation of the world around us to match that initiative evidence. And basically it just goes on saying why and gives some kind of validation. So I thought that was kind of neat, right? So as you continue going on, it goes and it says here, consider the opposite. What do I believe behind the question? And it tells you there is no such thing as an unbiased person. Our beliefs color everything we do, but we really explicit about what those are from the outset. So, and again, it explains a little bit more. So it's kind of like a fun, I don't know if you call it a game, but it was just, and yeah, I thought it was kind of neat. So what do you think, Adam?
Yeah, I mean that totally like how do you eliminate bias from your design? That's such
Mhm.
a tricky thing, right? Like you have your own kind of design sensibilities, and then you kind of have to play this kind of, I don't know, this kind of moral game between what the client wants and what you want to kind of argue with what what you feel works. And then so I kind of always struggle with that myself because I always feel like, oh, um should I put my foot down on this? Is this where I want to like is this where I want to kind of like make the battle where it's like no, you can't put this much content in this section. No, you can't I don't know, you can't kind of, I don't, this doesn't work visually, right? This is too much crowding. This doesn't work. Like we need more white space. We need more. This image really clashes with our message. Like how do you make these arguments? That's something that I know personally I struggle with like rallying with. How do you know when to be the design person to speak out, and how do you know that maybe it's just not your own bias and to just go along with what other people are saying. So it's such a tricky thing.
Yeah. Um, it, Anytime you're designing something or something you're trying to research on or something that you're trying to understand better, just have an open mind about it and try not to get too upset or too, well, I don't say upset, but maybe frustrated would be
I
the
know.
point. And stuff, just kind of take a deep breath and just really look at what you're looking at. Because sometimes when you're looking at something so hard, you don't see the answers because you're
Hmm.
already blinded before, if that makes any sense whatsoever, right? If you're
Yeah.
looking at design and you want to change something like, oh, frick, it's not working or just not, it's like taking a circle and trying to push it into a square, right? It just won't go sometimes. So, but if you take a step back and just get rid of the bias, get that I don't want to say chip off your shoulder, but that I I don't know what you would call it, arrogance, maybe not arrogance, maybe you know it all, maybe you don't know it all. I don't know, but just have a really open mind about it, and I think that's when excuse me, a lot of the answers will actually come. And don't be too hard on yourself either, because our industry is changing a lot. It's changing every day.
I know. It's always such a weird thing. It's like one, you can't be married to your design anyway because it's like the design isn't for you, right? It's for another end user. It's not you. And two,
Yeah.
it's like you can't be upset with the criticism because they're not criticizing your work. They're criticizing what works or what.
Yeah,
So it's like,
absolutely. Besides, in design, there's a lot of divorces and there's a lot of changes, and that's okay. And the more feedback you get, you will become a better designer, and they will actually tell you why,
yeah.
and that's the best part. I really think that's the best part. If I'm doing a design for somebody, right? If I talk to my lead or like whoever, right, is in charge of the project, I go like, well, what about this? And I'm like, oh crap, yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that, but you know what? I thought about it, but I didn't put it in there because I forgot because you're doing so many other things. So again, if you slow down and just take a little break, I'm like, oh, okay. So as long as I'm learning and you keep on getting feedback, you're all good. Good, good, good. So
Yeah. Yeah.
So, anyways, I do have another cliffhanger, and Adam's going to put that in the show notes. Um, um, at the bottom, you should really check it out because it's really cool. Because the article actually gives a lot of great tips about you as yourself as a designer, but not only that, but if you are a part of a team, but you're not the lead, but you report into a lead, this article will give you a little tips. It's kind of cool. So, and I'll just leave it like that, a cliffhanger. And you can check it out. So, Adam, where can they find you at?
They can find me on the internet, on Twitter. Well, I mean, I'm not really on Twitter that much, but that's because nobody talks to me on Twitter. So talk to me. If you find me on Twitter, send me out a message. I'm at Adan Zepeda. That's AdanZepeda. Let's get a dialogue going. Let's talk about whatever. I don't know. I'll respond to any message sent at me, unless it's like a spam. I don't know. And I'm also at on Instagram at adanz.designs. I really want to post more on there, and so I'm gonna try to make it more of a goal. It's things have been a little crazy lately, so well, hopefully we could that can finally all come down. But as soon as that works out, I'll be right back on my schedule and I'll be posting like crazy. And like every time I look at my phones and my posts and stuff and go, oh yeah, I wanted to draw more. Oh yeah, I wanted to design more. And so I'm like, it's always in the back of my mind and I'm just waiting for that time. But yeah. What about you, Terry? Where can we find you on the internet?
Yeah, they can actually find me on Twitter, and my handle name is Flaxen Ink, FLAXENINK. And sorry, don't have an Insta. I don't think I have time for an Insta. So we really have time with Twitter. So that's it for us, and keep designing. So aloha.
Bye.
Bye.